Hey everybody, Coach Toolshed here, and today we're going to be discussing some of the issues that I have with Fallout 76, really just my main biggest gripes with the game, and I'm not going to be looking at the technical side of things right now. I think a lot of that stuff has been well documented, and any technical issues is just stuff that people can simply write off as, hey, it's just a beta, so I'm not even going to get into that sort of stuff right now, although I do want to put one major bug out there, something that isn't something graphical, something that isn't due to frame rate or lag or PC problems or any of that. This is a very big bug that I have found in two of my characters. See, I have 4 different characters already. I have a level 20 character, a level 12, a level 10, and a level 6 character. And a problem that I have on 2 of these characters is that I am not receiving perk card packs at the proper intervals. Including my level 20 character, I did not receive a pack at level 20, and I'm also missing 2 additional packs on that character. So 3 packs total just by level 20 that I'm missing on that one character, and I started another character after that and was also having the same issue, did not get my first card pack to drop, and so that is a major issue that has to be addressed. I had not seen that addressed in the patch notes, and I don't know if this got fixed or not secretly, if this was a stealth fix, but I see myself and I've seen other people in my comment sections discussing this, and when I went to report this issue on Bethesda's forum officially, I saw other people with this issue. So that to me is a major problem. If you are not getting perk card packs, you are not able to build your character out properly. That is really going to hamper your options. That is a major problem that has nothing to do with graphics or frame rate or anything else. So that needs to be addressed right away. But everything else I want to discuss has nothing to do with technical stuff. This is all stuff that I think are foundational problems with the game. So the first big issue that I need to discuss is the basic mission structures that are found in the game. Now, this is not going to include every single mission. There are a few that sort of branch out and don't follow this same basic structure, but what you'll find, and this starts right away with the first missions that they give you, what you're going to find is most of the missions will just have you go to a terminal or go find a holotape, and then you'll listen to the holotape, or you'll punch something into the computer terminal, and then it will just put a mission marker on your map and send you on your way to the next spot. And then you'll go there and there'll be another audio log or a holotape, and then you'll listen to that and it will send you oftentimes right back to where you just came from. And what you'll see is, and like I said, this is something you can find right at the start of the game, and it only gets worse as you go, is the missions just ping pong you back and forth between point A and point B, point A and point B. And it does this constantly with a large amount of the missions. And once you get deeper into the game, what you're going to find is the game keeps following this same basic mission structure, except it starts widening the distance between point A and point B, which is only prolonging the missions, but it'll get to the point where I've had missions where I'll start at one spot and it will have me trucking to the complete opposite side of the map just to read a computer terminal, and then it will have me go all the way back to the previous spot to like turn on the power or something, and then it will have me go all the way back to another spot to get a blood sample of something, and then go all the way back to the original spot to analyze it. And the problem is that sure, you could fast travel to these locations back and forth, but it costs you caps to fast travel, and caps are a relatively precious commodity in this game. Even on my level 20 character, I barely have, I think, 900 caps, and that is with me selling a bunch of stuff and not spending any caps on anything except for moving my camp around. That is it. And even then, after several hours with the game, I still don't even have 1,000 caps because they're hard to come by in this game. Even selling off excess stuff doesn't get you a lot of caps. The prices in this game, even when I have put points into charisma and have turned on the hard bargain perk, which is supposed to get you better prices, you're still making almost nothing when you sell stuff to the robot vendors that are in the game. And the vendors are everywhere, so you can sell stuff pretty freely there. You can find little train stations with vendors all over the map, so selling stuff isn't a problem. It's just you get almost no caps for the stuff. So you don't really want to rely on fast traveling because you can't do it indefinitely. You're going to run out of caps. So in the end, you end up just shuttling back and forth between one spot and the secondary spot, and that is how almost all of the missions are. Almost all of them. Now, like I said, there's going to be some people saying, well, I did this mission and it wasn't like that. Yeah, there are missions here and there that are slightly different. But the vast majority, I would say over 80% of the missions, are literally just you ping-ponging across the map, going from point A to point B and back again. Or, conversely, there's the other type where you start off in one spot, you get the mission, and it will send you off to 4 different locations that are all over the map. You'll have to go northwest, northeast, down south, back to the other side of the map east, and then you'll all have to go back to the middle again. Some of these missions can take over an hour just because of the travel time. Not because you're doing anything when you get to those locations that's super in depth, because most of the time you just have to fight your way through a group of super mutants or a group of scorched, which is another issue I'm going to get into. And all you do is you fight through the enemies to get to the holotape, or pick up the folder, or pick up the plans, or pick up the computer terminal notifications that you need to progress the quest. And that's it. And it's terrible. It's terrible. There's no other way around it. Now, you could make the argument that a lot of Bethesda games do this, and even in general, a lot of games tend to do this, but I've never seen it quite as pronounced as in this game. You are just going all over the map to do these quests. Sometimes you'll have someone leave an audio log saying that they hid something somewhere, and then you look on the map to see where it is, and it's clear on the opposite end of the map. Like, just it takes forever to get there, and it's like, why would you go and hide something nowhere near where you are located? What? This makes no sense. These missions are there strictly to shuttle you around the map so they can show, hey, look how big the map is. Look at these locations. And what you'll find as you're going across the map is a lot of the map is empty. It's a lot more empty than it appears in the first couple hours of the game, because the broad mass of buildings and stuff to explore, the larger areas, are all pretty much clustered around Vault 76. Once you get to the outer sides of the map, there ain't much going on. It is pretty dry. And I've seen people defending that, saying, oh, they can add stuff later. Well, that's great. That's not going to be in the launch version of the game. And all I'm going to do right now is judge the launch version of the game. I'm not going to sit around and pontificate about what might be coming later, what they might possibly add later. I think that's a fool's errand. So right now, I'm just talking about what is in the game. And what is in the game is a lot of just trekking back and forth across relatively barren territory. And that's a problem. The mission structure of the game is a problem. And like I said, you could make the argument that a lot of Bethesda games do this, and you could be right. But this is going to play into the second problem that I have with the game. And that is the fact that this mission structure right now, where you're just following a trail of breadcrumbs from holotape to holotape to holotape, is so unbelievably hollow. And sure, you can listen to the holotapes, and some of them are genuinely good and interesting to listen to. I'm not impugning the quality of the audio tapes, because some of them are generally good. The problem is that when that's the only interactions you're having, that's pretty bad. And like I said, this brings me back into the second part that I have to talk about, which is the fact that no human NPCs, no human settlements, and not even human settlements, no settlements of any kind, is in fact a problem with this game. And the people saying that it's not, I honestly do not understand how you think that this is a better way to tell a story, or a more immersive way. Listening to an audio tape is not as immersive as having a living, breathing settlement, or a cluster of people hidden away somewhere, even a cluster of robots hidden away somewhere that you can go and interact with. The absence of that in a Fallout world is not a good thing. I see a lot of people trying to say, well, it's fine, I like it better this way. To me, that is just grasping at straws trying to defend this game. Because there's no world where you can convince me that leaving an audio tape is a better stand-in than actually having some sort of character, something standing in front of you, telling you part of the story. Or goading you along or guiding your character, something that you can cling to. I'm not going to feel any emotional connection to an audio log. That's never going to happen. Look at even a game like Fallout 4, which a lot of people deride as not having the greatest characters, not having the best writing, stuff like that. You can list off at least a dozen, maybe 24 characters that a lot of people really enjoy from that game, even as hollow as a lot of people found that game to be. You still have a lot of good NPCs. What about Piper and Kate and Marie and McCready and Nick Valentine and Pam and Codsworth? Even the characters that a lot of people didn't really like Tinker Tom and Desdemona, they're still memorable. And you don't get any of that in Fallout 76. And I'm going to show you a spoiler here. Alright, so if you care about spoilers for Fallout 76, I don't know why you would, but if you did, I'm going to show you a bit of a spoiler here. So you may remember a couple weeks ago, Bethesda teased an image of a character called Raider Rose, and they said that Raider Rose was observing everything that's going on from her perch on the top of the world. And so this got a lot of people speculating, like, oh, is there actually going to be human NPCs in the game? You know, they start getting all excited. Well, no, there's still no human NPCs in the game, and I'm about to show you Raider Rose right here. So like I said, look away. Look away now if you don't want to see what's going on. And I will say this. This is the ultimate NPC in the game as far as I've found. I've played this game for over 35 hours, and this is easily the most interesting NPC and maybe the only semi-interesting NPC that I have found in the entire game. Has a little bit of a backstory, and this is an NPC that will continue to send you on quests. So at this point, this is the most engaged character in the entire game, is Raider Rose.
Well, this is a little awkward. Not what either one of us expected, eh? Anyway.
And now, like I said, this is the only character that I have found to this point that has even a slight amount of ongoing interaction with you, aside from just giving you a quick quest and sending you on your way. This is the only character that has wanted me to come back to continue to do stuff for them. Now, it might exist, there might be other stuff out there like this, but like I said, I've played over 35 hours of the game. This is the only character that has done that. What you normally find is more stuff like this. Now, this is a sort of random event that I came across. You can come back here later, and I didn't find these. I've come back to this spot a couple different times. I didn't see these robots here. So this is kind of like the typical Bethesda random interaction that you run out into in the world, except these two robots just sit here and talk to each other in a loop. And they even make jokes that they're only making a conversation in a loop. And when you realize what they're doing, when you sit here and listen to them for a minute or so, it actually gets pretty obnoxious, because this is an example of Bethesda sort of poking fun at their own lack of effort in the game, that they just have these programmed AI enemies out in the world that just will babble in a loop as long as you let them. Now, I stood here for a few minutes. Nothing happened aside from these two enemies these two robots just sitting here jibber jabbering at each other with nothing going on.
Maybe. Are you single?
I could ask you the same thing. Do you ever feel like you're trapped in a loop?
Now, another major problem with this game is the way that they have implemented multiplayer. And I'm not talking about that they implemented multiplayer at all. We're way past that. I'm not talking about the PvP implementation. I'm talking about your general team, the way that they've incorporated your teammates into the game. Because honestly, in a game that is clearly trying to push the multiplayer aspect, and I see a lot of people trying to defend the game saying, oh, well, it's more fun with a team. Well, I would make the suggestion to you that the way that this game is built, you could have just as much fun all playing the game on a separate server as long as you're in a party chat. Because in my experience, when you team up, it really doesn't make much of a difference. And in fact, in many ways, it hampers the experience, because the way that the combat is set up, the way the XP gains go out, the fact that I couldn't find a way to even share missions with my teammates unless they also had the same mission. Like the mission sharing aspect of it, the going out and killing enemies. If you don't do damage to an enemy and your teammate kills a group and you're killing a group, Instead of just going in solo and you getting all the XP from all the enemies that you had to kill, you only get XP from the enemies that you did damage to. So it kind of goes against the grain of typical combat, where you want to focus down an enemy and kill them to get them away so you can whittle down the numbers as quickly as possible, as opposed to just popping a shot into every enemy you see. But this game encourages you to do that because the way they dish out XP. So being in a team, if you're traveling together, doesn't benefit you. You're going to end up getting less XP. There are charisma cards you can use and boosts you can use if you want to build your character around that, and then that can maybe offset the XP loss that you're going to hit. But the fact is that right now, the way the game's set up, without you getting XP off of your teammates' kills, it just kind of ruins going out to explore with your team, unless you're in a group of people who just aren't skilled enough to stay alive and you have to be supporting yourself and reviving yourself constantly, or if you're going up against an enemy that really requires some high-level enemies, or requires some high-level gear, and it requires your team to have some good gear to defeat them, that might be a different scenario. But from what I've run into when it comes to playing with other people, I've run into the issue where you're just kind of losing that XP unless someone has a charisma boost that they're helping you get more XP to the group. Another problem is that for a game that wants you to be in a group, supposedly, it does a terrible job of notifying you as to where your teammates are. They don't appear on your mini-map. They don't appear with a little dot on their head. The outline of them doesn't appear anywhere. If you get anywhere outside of the line of sight of one of your teammates, they're essentially gone unless you go into your map in the menu and figure out where they are. And then you can fast travel to them, or you can, if they're nearby, you can get back to them. But aside from that, it's just sort of an issue of where did you go? Like, where? This is what I ran into. It's a lot of where are you? Where are you? Where are you? That is more what I found. Unless you're standing right next to your teammate, it is very easy to lose track of where they are. And like I said, for that reason, it almost seems like you'd be best served to just, play the game in a server with your friends. Maybe you don't even need to be in a party, because it really doesn't do you much good. You could be having just as much of an experience just being in a party chat. To me, honestly, the way the team structure is set up right now, it's just useless. It's very poorly implemented. Sure, you could be having fun playing with your friends in the party, and I'm sure there's some people that will have a really tight group of friends that are all focused on doing the same thing and going out, and that's fine. If you have a group of friends of 4 people like that, that's fine. But I'm telling you, for the general player, they're not going to have a group of people that are all going to want to do the same thing at the same time. They're going to want to run off and do their own thing. That is how most people play. Now, something else that needs to get discussed, because this is going to be important for people who maybe like the settlement building. Now, the images you're seeing on the screen right now, I slowed this clip down quite a bit to show this off, because I tried to get a clip showing this stuff off, but in the hours of footage I had, I couldn't find the clip that I had. So what I'm going to show you here, look at the size, the total size you have to build. It's inside this green circle. Your camp goes in the center, and everything around it, this is the only space you're going to have to build. Is just inside that green circle. So as you can see, that is a very, very small amount of space to build, especially compared to pretty much any location that you would find in Fallout 4. It's not even close. And there's some other issues involved with the camp building as well, but my main thing is the people who did enjoy the settlement building in Fallout 4, sure, they might want to do it here, but you're going to be so severely limited in the size of your camp. I hear people talking about, I want to build a town and do all this, and you're simply not going to have the room to do that, because, like I just showed you, the space you have to build is not big. I would say it's probably smaller than Hangman's Alley in Fallout 4, which is the smallest location you could build on in that game. And for a lot of people, I know myself, I had some of my saves on Fallout 4, I had over 20 different settlements built. And that's something that I personally did enjoy. I know a lot of people hated it. I did enjoy doing that. And some of my settlements I spent hours and hours and hours of doing. In this game, it's kind of pointless. And anytime you want to move it, it disassembles the entire thing, and you would have to rebuild the entire thing. Now, you keep the materials that you use. Like if you built a bed and then you pack it up into your camp, that bed will still be there when you set it up at your next camp. But finding the space, you have to find a space that's flat enough to build on, otherwise it's going to look weird. But this stuff that people have done in the past where they plop down their camp, or they build a settlement and they make this big elaborate settlement that's, an impressive settlement, well, that's just not going to be here. It's not there. And so that's just one more aspect of the game that they've stripped out of Fallout 4, and it's another thing that I don't see what they added. The problem with this game is that they stripped so much out of the older games without adding anything. Because all they've added now are these daily events and multiplayer. And the daily events, by and large, are terrible. They're escort quests, or they're horribly implemented horde modes where it's like, okay, you killed them, now wait 20 seconds for the next horde to show up. It is awful compared to any other game that does it. And people can say that they have fun doing it, but compare it to any other game, and it is bad. It is flat out bad, these daily quests. Just go do a public event in Destiny, and then go do a public event in this game. And I'm not defending Destiny, is the thing, but Destiny does it miles better than this. And that's just one example. Pretty much any other game does it better than Fallout does it. That is the problem. That is the problem. You might be having fun doing it, but compare it to its peers, and it fails miserably in that regard. Miserably. And while we're on the topic of comparing this game to other games, I keep seeing people who are defending this game saying that this game looks amazing. That's the word that I keep seeing over and over. People say it looks amazing. I see it from people in comment sections. I see people in videos discussing it. And my question to them always is, and my question in the comments, I probably have asked this to at least 100 different people and have yet to receive one single person give me an answer to this. If you think this game is truly amazing, please go, I'm going to give you 3 years. Go back 2016, 2017, 2018. And tell me one other AAA open world game that looks this bad. Or looks worse. Because I will tell you that every single one that I've played looks miles better than this. And you can say it's the art design, but I'm going to tell you that excuse doesn't fly anymore. We are way past the year where this sort of graphical fidelity is acceptable. Period. There's a couple of things that this does okay as far as graphics go, but the overall package that you're being presented is not even close to what you're going to get from literally any other AAA studio. None of them. Every game, especially that's come out this year, looks miles better than this. And if you want to provide me an answer to rebut this, feel free. But so far, like I said, I have asked at least 100 people. Not one single person has given me an answer. Because as far as I'm concerned, there is no answer. At least not a suitable one. Anyway, I've gone on long enough here. These are some of my biggest issues that I have with this game. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I'm Coach Toolshed. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to stay in tune headed forward. And as always, keep it turned to 11.